Hey, and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be taking a look at the LG Stylo 5, which is a budget smartphone which was released in 2019, which features a stylus and is running Android 9 Pie. So considering the prices of iPads, Samsung Galaxy Notes, and all the other stylus-capable note-taking devices these days, is the LG Stylo 5 a cheaper alternative, and can it be used as a decent phone as well in day-to-day use here in 2020? Let's find out in this video. But before we jump right in, don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button as it helps me out a lot. Also hit that bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm on Discord, Instagram and Twitter, and you can follow me on those using the links down in the description below. I post teasers and behind the scenes and all the other good stuff that I don't post to YouTube onto those three, so you can go follow me on those using the links down in the description below. Alright, let's jump right into this video. So firstly, I have to point out that all that I say about the Stylo 5 also applies to the Stylo 4 to a certain extent. The only differences between the two are that the Stylo 5 runs Android 9 and the Stylo 4 runs Android 8.1, and there are some differences between the cameras, and of course the Stylo 5 has 3 gigs of RAM while the Stylo 4 has only 2 gigs of RAM, but apart from that they're almost identical. I use the Stylo 5 in class very often and purchased it as an alternative to physical notebooks, as I don't need to keep it on a table to write, hence reducing the risk of contracting the coronavirus, because nobody knows who's been sitting there, and it's just an extra precaution. It's also something that you should consider to purchase a stylus-based device. Even if you already have a phone and you want to experience a phone with a stylus, the LG Stylo 5 is a great way to get into this in a real cheap manner, as ones with even minor issues and slightly cracked displays can be had for around $20 to $50 off eBay. These ones usually have bad ESN, but still will turn on and work off the Wi-Fi. Mine was around $30 and has a minor crack on its glass digitizer and a bad ESN, but it's still perfectly usable off Wi-Fi. This is in stark contrast to used Samsung Galaxy Notes, which are almost always above $70 even when broken, and almost always have image burn displays. Firstly, let's have a quick go around of the device itself. The LG Stylo 5 is a bar style phone that has a plastic back which is glossy and feels like glass. The frame is aluminum and closely resembles that of the Galaxy S6 and feels really sturdy and well built. At the back we have the camera and fingerprint sensor. The right side has the power button and the left side has the volume buttons. Overall, a well constructed phone. Let us next discuss the display. The LG Stylo 5 features a 6.2-inch IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen with a resolution of 1080 by 2160 pixels and a pixel density of 390 pixels per inch. It features slim bezels on the sides and a small chin and forehead. For a phone that was around $250 when new, this is actually an amazing display. Its colors are vivid and somewhat accurate, and the darker colors are a bit too dark at times, but not very noticeable. It's sharp, and I never felt like I was using a budget phone when watching videos or browsing images. Overall, a very solid display for 2020. Taking a look under the hood, and we can see that the LG Stylo 5 is powered by an octa-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 450, clocked in at 1.8 GHz, and has an Adreno 506 as its GPU. It also sports 3 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs of internal storage with a micro SD card slot for expansion. These specs on paper are decent, but performance will depend on how much of a heavy user you are. But for taking notes, it will be just fine. The LG Stylo 5 runs Android 9 Pie with an LG custom skin over it. Sadly, it being a budget phone, it's loaded with bloatware that cannot be removed and takes up quite a lot of space. Apart from this, the interface is decently fluid, and as you can see, it opens apps and does not stutter or lag at all. It also has the handy news panel to the left of the home screen, which is full of all the necessary headlines and user preference news. Pulling down from the top of the phone, and we can see that the notification center on this phone is your average Android notification center with customizable toggles and all the necessary controls. Due to the aforementioned bloatware, the more you store on this phone's internal memory, the more it will slow down over time. This was reflected off the user reviews from the past year as well. This will also affect app speed and overall performance. However, Android 9 is perfectly usable as of 2020 and is still fully supported. Multitasking works flawlessly, and the icing on the cake in this phone is its split-screen multitasking, which is easy to use and is really useful when it comes to note-taking if you need 2 pages open at the same time. The Stylo will probably never get an update to Android 10 officially, as it's a budget phone, but I honestly think it does not need it, as it may affect performance. Now let's move on to the main star of the show, which is the stylus. When removing the stylus from the phone, it automatically displays all stylus-based input apps that are preloaded onto this phone, such as the Notes app and the Coloring Book app. Let's open the Notes app first and see what's inside. One must note, no pun intended, that unlike the Apple Pencil and Samsung Galaxy Note styluses, this stylus has no ability to ignore unintended touches and is just a capacitive stylus with no electronic internals or any smart features. When pulled out while the phone is locked, the phone opens a quick notepad-like thing, surely intended on being used for taking down a quick list or drawing. Let us now open the Quick Memo Notes app to demonstrate its writing abilities. And as you can see, I've already used it for some scratch notes for math and many other things. When trying to write, you'll notice the lack of smart tracking and inability to ignore unintended touches on the screen. The only way to write on this is to only have the pen touching the screen at any given time, so as to avoid unintended touches. The phone can be tilted to landscape mode for a wider page layout as well. Writing on it requires a bit of adjusting to find a comfortable position and height to keep your hand at, but once you do figure that out, it's actually quite a pleasant experience. There are many other Notes apps to be downloaded from the Google Play Store that will surely make this experience even better. The main camera on the LG Stylo 5 is a 13-megapixel shooter with a single LED flash and can record video at 1080p at 30 frames per second. The front camera is a basic 5-megapixel shooter and is nothing out of the ordinary. Here are some samples from the rear camera, and as you can see, they're pretty okay with acceptable color accuracy and good exposure. It does really well in bright conditions but struggles in low light and gets grainier the lower the lighting. The video quality is alright as well, but is nothing special and does not have 60 FPS recording. It also gets grainy when in darker lighting conditions. The video in the card above was entirely shot on the LG Stylo 5 and is a better example of this phone's recording capabilities. Overall, a decent camera, but I feel this is one area where they cut down on cost. The LG Stylo 5 also has an amazingly fast rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, which surprised me for its speed and accuracy. Here's a demonstration of the sensor in front of a mirror. Overall, a very solid fingerprint scanner. The phone also has a camera face unlock feature which works surprisingly well in bright lighting conditions. However, this is a camera-based 2D face unlock and is not as secure and accurate as a dedicated face sensor, but is still fast nonetheless. It does not work in the dark either. The 3500 mAh battery is a really nice plus point to this phone and powers the Stylo 5 for up to 2 to 3 days on moderate use while taking notes. This is about 1 to 2 days if the phone was being used with a SIM card to take calls and other things. A fresh battery replacement would do this phone even better and it will surely last longer. The Stylo also has 2 battery saver options, one being moderate with limited notifications and the other being extreme with no wallpapers and animations. For additional features, the Stylo 5 also has built-in NFC and a USB-C port. As a final conclusion, I'd like to say that if you're able to acquire the LG Stylo 5 at a price below $50 for a phone with a bad ESN just for taking notes, you're all set. However, pay no more than $100 for a SIM unlocked or clear ESN phone, as there are better alternatives with better performance and cameras. So finally, that's it for this video and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thumbs up and I'll see you guys in my next video.